Hello, hello. This is Simone, and this is the Adventure of Storymaking, sample number 1. And we have our lovely guinea pig, Miss Stephanie Richardson, who is also an artist extraordinaire. So today we're going to look at doing some collage. So, Stephanie, have you done collage before? Do you like collage?
I've every once in a while dabbled in the idea of it, but not usually gotten very far.
So what is it that seems to stagnate your collage?
Usually I just get distracted by other projects or run out of colors that I want in the things that I'm doing.
Right.
That's all.
So we've also got a little participant, my little sidekick there, Pudding.
Hello.
So I'm going to show you one of the things that I like to do. Today, the sort of sample that we're doing is we're using the fairy tale Rumpelstiltskin, because this class that I'm going to be doing is based on children's stories. So whether it's your own or whether it's ones that you choose that have been done millions of times before. So this one that I'm going to show you here, I'm just going to share my screen, and this is basically my studio that you see here. This here is from The Frog Prince.
Oh, that's so good.
So with this, it's all from magazines and various bits and pieces. Some of them you can see are more cards, so they have more depth to them than others because they're a thicker thing. So this is one technique. Now, one of my other favorite techniques is this little bear here. I don't know if you can see him. And this bear is basically watercolor. So there you go. That's a bear. And what I did with him is I drew him first, and I did watercolor pencil on him. And then the background is all magazines or bits of blues and greens that I found. So it's not painted. But like you said, Stephanie, sometimes I get frustrated when I can't find the color I want. So what I did was I took some of this, which is gel medium, and I took some acrylic paint, some blue acrylic paint. And if you see really close up, you can see sort of streakiness. And those are your brush marks. So you can always put a glaze over top of whatever you're doing to get a different effect. And you can add your own drawings on top too if you can't find what you're looking for. So then what I'm going to show you next is, a lot of you will be familiar with Eric Carle. He's that amazing, the caterpillar is the amazing one that he did. So you know the caterpillar,
oh, yeah.
He's done the ducks. Now what he did is he painted the background first. So you can see this is all painted, it's got lots of texture, and then he cut it out. So that's another technique you can use, and that allows you to get the colors you want. Another guy that I really like is this dude, Nick Bantock, and he is really amazing for doing both drawing, and he takes different, what he calls ephemera. Don't quote me on that, he might not call it ephemera. But he takes stamps and he takes maps and old postmarks, and so he creates stories with that. And he's also an illustrator. The other one, can you see that one, Stephanie, the Pinterest one?
Yeah.
So,
well, I see a bunch of them.
There you go. That's what we're looking for. So like this one here, this is a pattern piece of whatever, it might be wallpaper, whatever, and there's obviously stuff that's been taken from old labels and all bits and bobs. So you don't have to be restricted to magazines either. There's all kinds of fancy papers you can get out there that you can do this work with as well. So today we're going to use Rumpelstiltskin. Some of you may know the story, some of you may not. it's kind of a weird story. It was one of my favorites as a child. The basic synopsis is there is a young girl that belongs to a miller. The miller decides to brag to somebody that his daughter can spin straw into gold, which she cannot. So she is in the palace because somebody's heard and told the king, and they thought, well, this would be a good idea. So she's sitting in this room by herself with all this straw, and she's crying because she cannot spin all of this straw into gold. And so she cries and cries and cries, and this little elf-like character appears called Rumpelstiltskin, and he says, what will you give me if I spin it all into gold? And so she says, well, I have this really nice necklace. And so she gives him the necklace. And then the next day he comes back, and I think she gives him a ring to do it again. And the third day she has nothing. And so she says, I will give you my firstborn child.
Oh, always a bad idea.
Always a bad idea. So everything's going swimmingly. The king's very pleased. He decides to marry her because, who doesn't want a queen that can spin things into gold? So she ends up having a child, and then, of course, Rumpelstiltskin wants the child, right? And I don't remember. I think he tries to steal the child away. Oh, no, I know it is. She's really upset and doesn't want him to, or doesn't want to give her baby up, understandably. And he says, well, I'll make you a deal. If you can guess my name, then you can keep your child. Well, she has no idea. So she's like, Dave, Bob, Fred, and none of these work.
Is it Alexander? Alexander.
So he laughs at her and says no. And so she sends people out all over the kingdom to try and find out his name. And she finds out what his name is. And so she says it to him when he finally comes to see her again. And he gets so angry that he stamps his feet and has this right tantrum, and he falls through to the core of the earth. And I don't know what happens to him after that, but it's pretty hot down there, so he probably cries or something. It is a fairy tale after all. So that's the story we're working on.